Yesterday was the third anniversary of the mass murder in Newtown at Sandy Hook Elementary. And in the United States, on average, 31 Americans are murdered with guns every day. 151 are treated for a gun assault in an emergency room every day. Every day, on average, 55 Americans kill themselves with a firearm. 46 are shot or killed in an accident with a gun. A little less than half of those children. A gun in the home is 22 times more likely to be used to kill or injure in a domestic homicide, suicide, or unintentional shooting than to be used in self-defense, just as a starting point. And yet there are still people who are suggesting that we need more weapons of war on our streets, or it's just fine to have weapons of war on our streets. One of them is Carl Higbie, former Navy SEAL, director of field operations with Project Veritas, and founder of the Citizens League, the pro-gun group, thecitizenleague.com, and his website, his personal website, carlhigbie.com. Carl, welcome back.
Hey, Tom, thanks for having me on again.
Thanks for joining us. By the way, last time you were on, you said with great conviction that the murder rate was higher in England than it was in the United States.
No, I said the violent crime rate.
The violent crime. Oh, okay. Well, let me take a look. The murder rate in the UK is 34th in the world. We are 9th in the world, 18 times more. UK had 722 murders last year. We had 12,992. But let me look at all crime. Okay, all crime. Here we are.
Per capita, we're actually 119th in the murder rate in the world.
I don't know about the world. I've got a comparison here between the UK and the US. The murder rate per million people. The UK is 94th. We're 43rd. Total murders. So anyhow, as to violent crime, let's see, crime levels. Yeah, okay. The United Kingdom is ranked 42nd in the world, and we are ranked 30th in the world. So you're right. There's more crime in the UK. But that's actually not violent crime. So
well, either way, I mean, what?
But anyhow, but you know, okay, Carl. Bottom line question here: why should we have weapons of war on our streets?
Well, first and foremost, we have the Second Amendment to protect the right for the people to keep and bear the arms.
No, we don't.
For any reason other than to keep the government in fear of the people.
Carl, respectfully. Let me read to you, if I may. It's about 8 sentences. This is Patrick Henry, who was the largest slave owner in Virginia. At the Virginia Ratifying Convention, June of 1788, you can look it up. I also commend to you the correspondences between Madison and Jefferson after the Constitution was written. It would be in December of 1787. You can easily find that, where Jefferson came back and said, if the Constitution does not abolish a standing army during time of peace and turn it over to a citizens' militia, I will blow this thing up. And that gave birth to the Second Amendment. But the big thing for the Second Amendment, originally the Second Amendment, which was designed to have a national militia, said for the security of a free nation. And Patrick Henry stood up and said, wait a minute. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution gives the president and Congress, which may be dominated by the North, gives them the right to call up during time of war anybody, including our slaves. And if they do that, they will free our slaves. And so we've got to do something to prevent that from happening. And here's exactly what he said. He said, they may, if we be engaged in war, liberate every one of your slaves if they please. And this must and will be done by men, a majority of whom have not a common interest with you, in other words, Northerners. If we give power to the federal government to provide for the general defense, all the means in the possession of the people must be given to the government, which has entrusted the public defense. In this state, in Virginia, there are 236,000 blacks and many in several other states. May Congress not say that every black man must fight? Did we not see a little of this during the Revolutionary War? Every slave who would go to the army would be freed. They will search that Constitution, and they will see if they have the power of manumission, which is freeing slaves. And have they not, sir? Have they not the power to provide for the general defense and welfare? May they not think that these call for the abolition of slavery? May they not pronounce all slaves free? And will they not be warranted by that power? This is no ambiguous implication or logical deduction. The Constitution speaks to the point. Article 1, Section 8, they have the power in clear, unequivocal terms and will clearly and certainly exercise it. In this situation, I see a great deal of the property of the people of Virginia," he's talking about slaves, "in jeopardy and their peace and tranquility gone." And in reaction to that, James Madison changed the language of the Second Amendment, which was, again, designed to create a national militia, from "for the security of a free nation" to "for the security of a free state," so that Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina could maintain their slave patrols. That's why the Second Amendment was passed. Nobody, I defy you, Carl. In fact, I would make a bet with you, except I generally don't bet, but I defy you to find a single quote from any of the founders that the Second Amendment is there so that we can fight against the government that they just fought and died to create.
How about the very people that founded the Second Amendment? I think, Tom, that monologue is nice, and it's nice that someone quoted something one time. But the fact of the matter is they passed the Second Amendment to keep the people and give us the power to rise up, if necessary, to
Carl, it's not true. Whoever told you that is lying to you. And like I said,
okay.
If you can find that from in the mouth, if you can find that in the mouth of any of the founders, you can come back on this program and I will publicly apologize to you.
Okay, I will find that for you, Tom. But I think that
it is an absolute fantasy.
Keep and bear arms was not founded based on slavery. It was not founded on that based at all on slavery. It was solely based on the idea that a well-armed citizen militia was there to either support or, at times, defy the free state if they felt that they were being oppressed.
No, you just, I mean, you really need to read the history of this, Carl. It's very straightforward stuff. Jefferson and Madison, and there was a whole bunch of them, actually, had seen in Europe country after country being overthrown by military coups. And they wanted to make sure that never happened in the United States. And their idea to solve that problem was to do what Switzerland does to this day, which is that every person, every man between the ages of 17 and 47 in Switzerland is a member of the militia. The guns are held in the local militia armory. And they had armories back in the day, by the way. People were not keeping them in their homes.
Everyone's issued 40 bullets a year to train in Switzerland. And they have the lowest murder rate of anybody nationwide.
Certainly, because it's one of the wealthiest countries. Murder rates typically follow poverty, not necessarily the availability of guns. But the point, although they do follow the availability of guns, but the point is that the Second Amendment was so that we could not have a standing army during time of peace. And there are hundreds of discussions of that you can find by the founders during that period of time from 1787 to around 1793, I think, when it was ratified.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where you're getting the whole, Second Amendment tied into slavery. I think that's the most ridiculous.
Well, it got changed from the security of a free nation to a security of a free state in order to protect the slave patrols in 4 states.
Either way.
And that's easily documented.
Well, you can claim that it's documented all you want, but the Second Amendment has nothing to do with slavery. Second off, look, to be honest, the Second Amendment is passed. The Heller versus D.C. case, that has been upheld as the single individual's right to keep and bear arms.
You're right, and I think it's a horrible mistake by the Supreme Court. It's even a worse mistake than Roe v. Wade.
Well, look, I'm a conservative. Roe v. Wade's not going to get overturned. I've accepted that. Maybe it's time for the left to start accepting that the Second Amendment is here to stay.
Then we're going to have more and more deaths in this country.
Yeah, I don't know where you get off on that, because California had some of the most strict gun laws. Those assault rifles that they used, as they used them, were illegal, yet they used them anyway. So, what gives here, Tom? If you ban it, it's the same thing with heroin and cocaine. We banned all that stuff. You're not allowed to have it at all, but yet it's rampant on the street.
It is. It's very simple, Carl. The states that have the strongest gun control laws have the lowest gun death rates: suicide, homicide, and accidental death. The states that have the weakest gun laws have the highest death rates. Look it up.
I have looked it up, and that's completely false.
No, Carl Higbee. I guess we've got dueling facts here. CarlHigbee.com is the website. Carl, thanks for dropping by.
Thanks, Mel. Appreciate it.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.